Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 8 of Expanding Empires. I'm your host, Aarron. Thank you for coming and joining us on the 6++ channel. Please make sure you check out our other shows, such as Davey with Bugwatch, Tom with Geniuses That Came From Below and the List Doctor, and then Ed will be back with a new show soon after completing his wonderful The UKTC and me. Also, please like, subscribe, comment, let us know how to make this content better for you. This week, we've got some really cool and interesting lists that have done well and some for the week ahead. So let's get straight into them. First up, we have Drew Salsborn at Midgard, April 2023 40k ITC Grand Tournament in the US. 29 players over 5 rounds. And Drew took a very cool, spicy list and went 4-1 and very narrowly missed out on taking down the entire event by coming second. Now, Drew has gone for the Tau Sept with his heavy support, his compulsory type being heavy support. And straight off, definitely the instant change here is in the no 4 talk slot. Drew has gone for 3 units of 10 Kroot Hounds. That's right, 10. So that's pretty crazy. We normally just see them in their little minute MSU units of 4. Let's see, 3 units of 10, like really, really cool take on the list. And that is followed up also by Kroot Shaper, who has Master of the Hunt and the Boar Throd Gland. So again, normally we only see these as a EM Scrambler Monkey, Master of the Cone Monkey, something like that. But Master of the Hunt is a specific Kroot warlord trait, which gives the ability to give out ignore cover to Kroot near him. And then the Boar Throd Gland allows him to use it once, and I think it's +1 attack and strength for a single turn for Kroot that are within 6 inches. And then another glaring miss and striking strangeness to this list is the HQ slots. There's not a single commander whatsoever, and everyone says that it has to be commanders, but not Drew. They are up for something different, and straight off we have Anva, and again, different straight away. We've got the standard Wisdom of the Guides, but then we've got the Unifying Mantra and Power of the Tides, and these two we don't see very often. Unifying Mantra allows you to re-roll morale tests, and they add 1 to combat attrition. And then the Power of the Tides allows you to give +1 to wound to attack auxiliary unit, which is obviously going on all these Kroot that are hanging around. Then we have the Cadre Fireblade, an exemplar of the Cayenne. And they've got a marker drone, and then Long Strike with the double accelerate burst cannon and his 3 boldness victory warlord trait. We then go into again 3 units of Kroot Carnivores, and then 3 strike teams. So a lot of troops on this list, so really cool to see, and to see it doing well as well. And then in the fast attack slot, we've got a Pathfinder team with a pulse accelerated drone and a recon drone. There's no rail rifles or iron rifles in here. And then in heavy support, we've got triple Hammerhead gunship with double accelerated burst cannons. And then we have 3 Skyray gunships with double accelerated burst cannons. And obviously the Seeker missile rack and the double marker light. This is such a left field take on how to run Tau. It's amazing. I love it. The ability of the Kroot to be really fast and pressure your opponent, the pre-game move, the ability from the Kroot Shaper to give them extra attacks, the ability from Anva to give them the ability to +1 to wound, etc. You're just going to drown your opponent in attacks. It seems to have gone very well. This looks obviously like a bit more of a primary denial with the rushing forward potentially, then backed up by any armor or difficult to deal with units that pop up are just going to get annihilated by the Hammerheads and the Skyrays too. So yeah, this is such a cool take on a list. Absolutely brilliant, Drew. I really, really enjoyed looking at this list. I'd love to run this myself and see how it goes. Don't have quite that many Kroot Hounds. You're a madman for having 30 of them. But yeah, just again, it's showing you that the meta is always changing. There's always a different aspect you can take, and a lot of people probably were just like, what am I doing with this list? What am I supposed to do? And Drew has taken full advantage of that to go 4-1. It's an amazing result. So congratulations to you, Drew. Next up, we have Taylor Hill, who was at the Down Under 40k Major in Australia. This was 106 players, and it was over 6 rounds. Taylor went for a compulsory type of fast attack and was Tau Sept as well. So in the HQs, a bit more of a standard layout than what we were normally seeing. So we've got Anvar with Storm of Fire, which is the do an action and shoot. Sense of Stone to the fire, but feel no pain, and Wisdom of the Guides for the extra CP. And then we have a Commander in Cold Steel Battlesuit with Precision of the Hunter, the High Output Burst Cannon, a Missile Pod, a Plasma Rifle, then the Begal Hunter's Plate, which is the extra armor save and 5 up feel no pain, and then the Thermoneutronic Projector and the Marker Drone. Again, quite a normal outlook for what we're seeing. It's actually exactly the same outlook that I run on mine. And then we follow that up with Commander Shadow Sun with her Exemplar of the Kion, and then the 2 high energy fusion blasters. The ability to give Commander rerolls out from Shadow Sun, I think, is really, really good and very important in a lot of tower lists, and it goes a long way to fixing some of the potential issues you can come up against. And then following that out, we have Long Strike with 3 Boldness Victory, and then just the standard railgun and gun drones on it. Again, we're seeing another list that is utilizing the +1 rerolls from characters and not having to rely on any sort of strats and stuff like that. So that's very cool, paying up front for it with the CP, so you're not having to repeatedly pay throughout the game. Then in the troops, we've got 2 breach teams. Straight onto the elites, and we've got a unit of 5 crisis suits that's got armed with cyclic fusion blaster plasma rifle, and then we have 2 guys with shield generators, 3 with target locks, and then the leader's got an iridium battle suit and stim injectors. The crisis battle suits are accompanied by 2 marker drones and 2 shield drones. A nice big blob of 5. This is sort of a slight twist on the layout that we normally see, not quite often see in the fusion blasters. I'm wondering if that's more to do with the concern of having an extra high damage to go through on the risk of the guard lists that are coming out of all of the armor, or also potentially trying to sway a bit more of a better game into the Dark Angels, because that's very, very difficult with the Terminator bricks coming forward. And then we also have another unit of 4 crisis battle suits that have cyclic iron blasters, missile pods, and plasma rifles. Now there is 1 fusion blaster in this, and then 3 target locks, and then a iridium battle suit shield generator on the leader, and then 2 marker drones and 2 shield drones again. This is a lot of points invested in battle suits, and I'm intrigued as to whether both start on the board or not, because obviously only 1 can do the shoot and fade. So potentially 1 maybe just sits on the home objective, comes out a bit later, or 1's in deep strike and comes down to try and utilize the rerolls that way, so you can have 2 units rerolling. Then we've got advanced attack, our standard 3 units of 4 crew hounds, none of the crazy 3 units of 10 that we saw from Drew. And then a single hammerhead gunship in heavy support, and then 2 devilfish for the dedicated transports for the breaches to go in. Now, Taylor had an amazing result and run. He went, they went 5-1 and ended up ranking 7th. So a really, really good showing off of a very large event. Interesting to see that Anvar is starting to make his presence known again. We're seeing a lot more of him appearing in some of the winning lists and lists that are doing well, or just very popular in general, and lists looking into the weeks ahead. I think it's for the points now. If you can take them if you're running a tower set and you're able to take them quite easily, then just having the extra invocation, I think, and the fact that it doesn't take up a relic to go off on a 2 as well, and then you've got a little bit of defense for them with the 2 guards that sit with them. Again, really good to see 2 vastly different lists, both going X and 1 at their events and doing very, very well in their placing. So congratulations to you both. Next up, for the first list of next week, we have Mikael Christiansen, who's at Gothcon 40k Open in Sweden. This is 65 players over 6 rounds. And this is a heavy support compulsory type and Farsight Enclaves. So again, we're continuing to see a mix of the set choices out there. And in the HQ slots, Mikael has gone for Commander in Cold Steel Battlesuit with Precision of the Hunter, and then double missile pod and double plasma rifle with a solid image projection unit. I'm wondering what sort of meta that Mikael is going into, because obviously a lot of the time we're seeing people take Precision of the Hunter with mass shooting, whereas obviously this is just 6 shots, but they are obviously hitting quite hard. It's definitely a strong ability to go and take out a elite unit of infantry, or potentially even a small vehicle, or finish one off, or a knight. Then have a Cruise Shaper with the Pure Tide Engram Neurochip for the CP region. And then this is where it starts to get a little bit spicy. So we've got the standard sort of minimal HQ up front that we see, like which is a Commander and Cold Star or and a Cruise Shaper. And then we also have 4 Breacher teams, which is very, very interesting because they've then got 4 Devilfish to go in to make them the ability to very aggressively go out and get aerospace, aggressively go out and try and interfere and move, block your opponent, deny their primary, and even try and do an alpha strike on them. The other thing on these Devilfish is they've all got a double smart missile system as well. So I'm presuming this is to go after something like the Desolation Marines that we're seeing come out and the Guard Mortars, all this indirect that we're seeing is just to fight back against it. We then go into fast attack and we've got just 1 unit of 4 Crew Hounds. And then we've got 2 Pathfinder teams. One has a grab inhibitor drone and 3 iron rifles. And then the other one has a grab inhibitor drone and a pulse accelerator drone. So again, a lot of marker lights that can be chucked out there on 2+, quite dynamic in their ability to actually move forward, get some marker lights and continuing to move forward and obviously get into cover or just steal an objective, or even obviously can perform the secondary actions for aerospace targeting relays. Then heavy support, we've got 3 Hammerhead gunships and all of them have got double smart missile systems as well. So again, we're seeing a lot of outline shooting coming up here. And obviously, Mikhail is concerned about the meta that they're going into, and it seems to be a good choice. And it's something I would try out as well at the moment with all of the Guard and Marine lists that we are seeing. And then a stern favourite that has never quite left, even though everyone said flyers were death, but not for Tau, is 2 Sunshark bombers, obviously with the 2 missile pods and the interceptor drones. Just as I always say, like a broken record, they're just so efficient in shooting for the points, it's very difficult not to take them. So good to see that they're still getting use. And then, as I said, yep, the dedicated transport for the Devilfish. This is a really cool take on it as well, just having all of those transports and breach teams, and then obviously all these smart missile systems to try and potentially combat back of the out of line of shooting that you've got going against you. The final list that we have for the week ahead is David Jones, who's at Team Stonehammer presents Bring the Ruckus. This is in the UK, it's 51 players and over 3 rounds. The compulsory type for David is Elites, and the set choice is Farsight Enclaves. So first off, in the HQ slots, we've got so we have the Cadre Fireblade with the multi-century discouragement array. This is quite a strange one. This relic allows you to pick an enemy unit within 12, and then you roll 3d6. If you beat the leadership, you can choose one of 3 options. You can choose to make them lose objective secured. You can halve the move characteristics and halve the charge rolls made for that unit. And you can also make it so that if they make a ranged attack, they have to target the closest enemy unit. Interesting take. Actually very, very cool as well if you can then get someone close enough and launch up, I don't know, some Crew Hounds, etc., something to make them have to go for that instead, or just really sort of slow down your opponent if they're a combat army trying to get into. A little bit worried about the fact that it's a 12-inch range on it. So this is 18, not a Farsight Enclave set will be 12, not 18 if it's Tau. But still a very cool thing to take and very different from what we're seeing a lot of the time. We then get Commander Farsight with his Warlord trait, and then we get a Commander in Cold Star with Precision Hunter, a Fusion Blaster, the High Output Burst Cannon, a Shield Generator, the Begal Hunter's Plate for the 5-up, and then the Thermoneutronic Projector. Again, I really like the new. I really like the dynamic between having Commander Farsight and a sort of Cold Star commander that has the ability to go into combat as well. I think it gives you the ability to sort of help back up your army in 2 different places at once, because obviously Tau are very weak to get in a cuddle, shall we say. And also, if I can get my hands on that model, I'll be running Commander Farsight every game I could. It's so beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. And then in the troops, we just got 2 breach teams, which come in 2 Devilfish. These have got 2 smart missile systems again and 2 Seeker missiles. So looking at the Seeker missiles as we'll go through on this, I'm curious if the Seeker missiles are potentially another attempt to try and get something that's got enough AP and potential damage to get through Dark Angel's Terminators, because it is a big issue for the Tau lists. But again, it's nice to see slightly different twists and mixes coming out. In the elites, we've got the big brick of 5 crisis battlesuits. They're armed with the burst cannon, cyclic iron blaster, and plasma rifle. This is the standard loadout that's sort of been showing up the most over this season. And they've got the target lock, shield generator, an iridium battlesuit, and then the stim injectors. And they have 2 marker drones and 2 shield drones. We've then got 3 units of 3 stealth battlesuits. They're all armed with burst cannons and a single fusion blaster, and they all have 2 marker drones. I'm presuming that this is being used for something along the lines of retrieve battlefield data, having the option to do that. That's still a bit of a risk failing on a 6. It could also be used towards engage, etc., or behind enemy lines, but little bit of a strange take on this, and I'd like to see how this plays out, because having that extra footprint can be a bit awkward sometimes. And obviously you can do a lot of the move blocking, etc., with just 3 units and keeping the points down. We then have in the fast attack, we have 3 piranhas with the piranha burst cannons, 2 seeker missiles again, and then the gun drones. So again, it's the seeker missile showing up, so that is 10 in the list, which is obviously quite a lot. That's 50 points, but again, it gives you the ability to potentially get that extra AP through, and the potential of getting hit and damage free, which you should do against Terminators. And then in heavy support, we have a Riptide battlesuit, a double smart missile system, and then the early warning override, ion accelerator, target lock, velocity tracker, and then 2 shielded missile drones. Now, we've started to see potentially in some of the lists we've been going over, especially this week, a down trend in people taking Riptides. I still think they're really good. Obviously, we've seen other lists can do brilliantly without them. So it's good to see that they're still there, and just essentially, like, there's options to take for your Tau list that can use all of your toys, your favorite ones. Over the last couple of weeks, we've seen most of the units in the codex being taken, which is really, really good. And as we experiment and see that there's multiple viable versions of lists that we can take. So look, some really cool and interesting lists this week that have done well and are going out to events. So again, congratulations to our people that have placed well and gone X and 1, and also good luck to the people going into this weekend ahead. And I'll see you all next week.